Hello, Mgtows. Hello, men. I wanted to talk a little bit about overcoming passivity. There I go. Now I know I'm on the air. Hello, men. Hello, Mgtows. We often hear this. Ooh, you can't be angry. Anger is a good thing, Mgtows. Don't ever let yourself be denied the opportunity to be angry when you should be angry. Overcoming passivity is what we're talking about here. We're talking about overcoming passivity because the end result of a lot of passivity are being passive. And that's what they want out of you. They want docile little sheep. Docile little sheep that run around and don't kick back and don't bite. But some sheep bite. And I know that. The end result of it is often a resentment and a pent-up frustration. Being too passive can impact you in a negative way. Your self-confidence, your self-esteem will suffer. Now I can see their point on the other end. You can't be aggressive. You can't punch something. You can't physically involve yourself in choking someone, even though you want to. But that's a total extreme end of the bar. Being aggressive is a total extreme end of the bar. When they come to us and they say, oh, you Mgtow shouldn't be angry. Did they forget we were on the internet? Did they forget metaphysical pizza? I can't send you a piece of pizza. Hence, I can't put my fist through the screen and punch you in the face if I want to. That's crazy thinking. It's crazy thinking when they come to us and they say, oh, Joe, you're being angry, or overly aggressive behaviors. And I know that sometimes reflects in arrogance or just mean-spiritedness. However, really, guys, be assertive. Learn how to express yourself in the ways you need to express yourself. Learn how to articulate yourself in those ways you need to articulate yourself. And be aggressive in a manner that gets you what you want and what you need in life, rather than being a doormat. Because the people that are telling you, oh, Joe, you're being too angry, are the same people that will tread on you. Engage yourself in a healthy and appropriate, assertive behavior. I had to go to, when I was first beaten down and I was 130 pounds, I went to this little therapist and she said, Joe, you're beaten down. You're letting everybody walk all over you. Appropriate, assertive behavior is the thing. Assess all your personal interactions. Joe, she's saying, Joe, assess all those interactions. Don't be aggressive, be assertive. Let's learn the difference between the two. And that's what we do here in Mgtow. I take responsibility for everything I do, and I ask people to take responsibility for everything they do. And that includes the females in this society. I ask them to take responsibility for opening those filthy little legs of theirs, riding the cock carousel, getting pregnant, and those 42 million baby mamas out there in my country that are telling me to calm down, Joe. It's all good. It's all good, man. Well, they're destroying our country. No, I'm going to take the assertive action on this and say it. It's not all good, and they're whores. Oh, I know. I know that sounds terrible to some people. Today I put up a little thing on, there saying, Joe, there's a difference between being a Mgtow monk and the rest of society would like to tell you. The rest of society would like to tell you how to do it. And you got to be total ascetic. Because that's where they think of it. And I'm saying, no, I'm going to say simply a Mgtow monk is I ain't taking no bitch into my house. I ain't taking no bitch into my house. The only difference between an ascetic monk and me is I know how to say it. I know how to say it. And I'm not going to apologize or be all apologetic or ask anybody for their permission to do it. The only difference between my morals and their morals is I say it differently. And that's the thing. They don't like when you say things differently. When you say things like a Mgtow, they don't like that. And that's what we have to get used to around here. Being assertive, not aggressive. There's no way to be aggressive on this screen. If I punched the screen, I would have to buy a new screen. Why would I do that? When I get these guys around here saying, oh, you guys are being a little too angry, what they're saying is they would like to moderate your speech. And they win. And they win. No, Mgtows. Stop being passive. That's step one. Stop feeling shame, because that's what they're throwing on you. A big shame sandwich. For being aggressive, for being a male, for being myself. This is Joe all the way. This is Joe all the way. This is full throttle Joe all the way. No more that pansy sissy male that took all that bullshit in my life and got me in a very horrible shape in this life. I was not assertive. I didn't practice aggression in the right way. A matter of fact, I was a simp ass motherfucker that would let everybody walk over him. But this is Joe every single day now. When I exit this door now and someone's doing something stupid, I say it. But society doesn't want that. Society wants you to not see those baby mamas. Oh, pretend like they're not there. That's magic thinking, man. They're there. They're there. And they want everything you own. They want you paying taxes at 80% and living in their barn like a workhorse. We need to be assertive. We need to be overly assertive. I don't think these are unrealistic demands. Does any of you guys think this is unrealistic demands? I don't think it's unrealistic demands. It's your self-worth we're talking about here. It's your self-worth, man. Think of yourself as more when people put unrealistic expectations of subservience on you. Don't fear it. They will disapprove. They will try to retaliate, or they will voice their objections. In other words, being passive will put you into the situation that they can walk over you because you are not concerned enough about your potential and your potential in this world. You're not concerned enough about that. And that's where you will go wrong. Get angry. Get angry appropriately. There is no fear here in Mgtow. This is a screen I'm talking to. This is a microphone I'm talking to. And if they equally equate that with real life activities of punching someone in the face or kicking a dog, them, I almost swore, them people are crazy. They're crazy. Michael Foucault talked about this in The Author, about knowing the difference. When Sherlock Holmes, Sir Walter, whatever his name was, wrote Sherlock Holmes, they tried to take him and put him in jail. They had a court hearing where they, in Sherlock Holmes, or the guy that wrote it, just said the same thing Michael Foucault said. That's just a cognomen. It's just a cognomen. You can put the cognomen in jail. That's all this is right here. I'm a cognomen. You can put the cognomen in jail, but the real author gets to stay out of jail because he was reflecting his concerns and the potential consequences of certain things that will happen and are likely to happen in life if he didn't voice them. That's what they want to subvert you to. That's what they need to subvert you to. Because if they can draw that up in that panopticon that Michael Foucault talks about in those little cubicles, they put each one of you in the cubicle and you share the awful deeds of the world equally. Every single one of you. Did I pronounce that right? Panopticon. That's what the panopticon is, where the eye in the sky is always watching you, and you fear. And you fear he might be watching you, he may not be watching you, but you fear that he is watching you. And then he puts you in that little cubicle where you're always fearful. You know what the thing about that is? The psychopath and the innocent man equally believe. They both equally believe that they are innocent. Oh, that's a pretty disturbing thought. The psychopath thinks he's equally as innocent as the people that don't care rule the world. The psychopaths rule the world then. Don't be in that panopticon. Don't put yourself in that panopticon where you think this world is watching you. They don't care. They're not watching you all the time. That's what they want you to think, because it's an easy way to govern, and it's a lazy way to govern. It's the lazy way to govern. Say it strong, Mgtows. Say it with passion. Say it with emotion. Say it with a little bit of anger, because you ain't hurting nobody. You ain't hurting nobody from a screen from 1,000 miles away. And if they say that's anger, who's the fucked up person there? They're telling on themselves. They may be the psychopath. The people that are telling you not to be angry here, not to show or display emotions on the other side of a screen 1,000 miles away, on the other side of a microphone 1,000 miles away, may be sick individuals. They might be the psychopaths we are talking about, because they think they're equally as guilty or equally innocent as the innocent man, the innocent victim. We all carry a lot of things in here. We all have stories to tell. Horror stories in most cases. I can go on for hours with horror stories of what I had to endure. But when they limit you, nobody hears you, and you become passive, that passive sheep. You are the sheeple. Hello, hairless ape. Hello, who are you? Hello, Najee. Hello, Dr. McCoy. I see 6 people in the room. I just did this off the cuff because I needed to do this off the cuff. Because sometimes I do get angry. And sometimes I get angry about someone telling me not to get angry. I don't like that. I don't like to be moderated and suggested that I fall in line in a queuing line. Yeah, that's what they're doing. They're suggesting you fall in line, and they're telling you you need to ask permission from them to vent your disapproval of society, your disapproval of whores and baby mamas and people that want to steal everything you own. Please don't vent your disapproval of that. Oh, what are we then? We are a different breed then. We are no longer human. What breed do you pick to be? You pick to be a simp mangina if you pick to be that breed. If they can't elevate their emotions to a level that is appropriate, they are telling on themselves. And sometimes the appropriate emotion is what I'm doing right here. I can regulate my voice very, very subtly to very, very high. I choose to do it like this because it gets my point across very aggressively. Do not let them moderate what you're saying. Do not let them manipulate you. Do not carry that resentment in your soul. You are harboring guilt. You are shameful when you let them do that to you. You can learn from these things, these feelings. Don't be a doormat. And that's an exciting expression when you finally feel it. Do you feel resentment, hurt, or depression? And ask yourself why. Because you're harboring that inside of you. You're holding that back. As a Mgtow, we get rid of that as much as we can. Your stomach will tighten and your breathing will quicken. You will feel anxiety and depression if you hold that on there. And you'll feel like there's no fucking oxygen in the world. And I've been there. Take notice of these things. Take notice of these bad feelings. Because you need to get them out of there. And you do not need some guy 1,000 miles away telling you to calm yourself, to try to keep you inside that pressure cooker, to try to keep you in that bucket of rats that will pull you back down. No, you are a Mgtow. Remember that every single day of your life. And passivity is something we do not practice. No, stop, go. I say those words for a reason, because they work. No, stop, go. And if you do it, no, stop, go, they will not respect you. Say it like a man. Say it like a Mgtow. No, stop, go. And that's what I wanted to talk about today. Is there anything you wanted to talk about? Hello, Sarge. It's Friday, wrapping it up today. Decided to get mad. Gonna go out for a few beers later. I think all of you guys are. Gonna go blow some steam off after the work week's over. Is it Friday? I hope it's Friday. Yeah, it's Friday. Need to do that. Seen too much this week. Seen too much. Seen too much of people trying to tell me what to do. Seen too much in this world. Too much ugliness. This ugly they leave in their paths. The liberals. The be passive guys. Oh, don't say that, people. Them are the same people that left this town in a horrible shape. They need a strong leader. We need a strong leader. We need Joe for president. But they'll never let me pre-president because I'm an electrician from Ohio that has too much on his mind. That kind of quick fix comes too fast for most people. But what are you doing today? What are you all doing? Are you sitting around being passive sheep? Oh, I can't go out. I can't say things to people. They might get offended. Nah. I'm doing what I want to do here in Mgtow. See, when you take on the Mgtow monk attitude, people like to tailor that down. They like to boil that down to their meaning. And I talked about this before. I talked about this quite a few times. Be an ascetic. What is be an ascetic? Let's look that up real quick. Ascetic. Aesthetic. Aesthetic. I spelled it wrong. It means simply what it means. I'll get the regular me so I can read it to you. Oh no, I spelled it wrong. I spelled it autistic. Yeah, I'm having a day. The meaning is simply that you self You self-monitor everything. You keep yourself from doing everything. That's what they want you to believe, that you keep yourself from doing everything, because that's what they'd like to think. You're sitting by some tree in some diaper, and you're just praying all the days of your life, and you're not getting out there. And that's more moderation, because they like to believe that. They sure would like to believe that. That's not the way us. That's not the way us Mgtows act. That's not the way we are. We're passion-driven creatures. We're passion-driven creatures of rage and anger and hate, they say. Hey, David Cameron rage quit today. Did you see that? David Cameron rage quit. They talk about us Mgtows rage quitting. I just thought that was interesting that David Cameron rage quit. He needs a little Mgtow, doesn't he? He rage quit. He needs some Mgtow. Yeah, he needs a little Mgtow more than most people do. Why does he need Mgtow? Well, he just couldn't handle it. When does a prime minister rage quit? Could Obama rage quit? Wouldn't it be great if Obama rage quit? He would just be like, oh, I can't do this no more. You guys are all fucking assholes. Little girly whine. And then he rage quit. That's what David Cameron did today. Yesterday, last night. What the fuck ever. He just beat himself up over that. Did he lose? I can't imagine that the vote was about him winning or losing, and he internalized it. And then he was real nice. In essence, he didn't get mad, and he rage quit. That's what happens when you don't get mad. That's what happens when you don't know how to show your anger properly. You should have pounded his fist. You should have pounded his fist on the table and showed proper emotions, but he can't, because it's not allowed unless you're a Mgtow. And I think they're getting used to it with us. I want Trudeau to rage quit. Yeah, Trudeau. He would do it in a girly fashion, wouldn't he? He'd be like all like, ooh, waving his arms. You ever see that? What's that movie when the kid runs like a sissy and he waves his arms and he's like, yeah, I'm out of here. You know, Napoleon Dynamite, when he puts his arm up. That's the funniest thing I ever seen. And he runs out of the room. That's what not David Cameron, Trudeau would do if he rage quit. Who else should rage quit? It's becoming popular. We always see this in 4s and 5s too. When any Mgtow rage quits, he gets all like angry and doesn't know how to express himself. We see this in 4s and 5s. They leave and grows sometimes. The last one was last year. MU, Truth Over Everything, Neo, all that group. They just rage quit. David Cameron rage quit now. Bitch. I would like to see Obama, Trudeau. This guy's still arguing with me this morning. He says, Mgtow, I agree. Yes, he agrees now. After making a video on how we should tone ourselves down, now he agrees with me. Hillary should rage quit. Yes, she should. That would be an interesting sight. She'd be all like eating like bread and shit. I'm going to just eat bread now and go to that pasta place. I can't remember what it's called, the chain store, where all the girls that are like rage quitting go and eat bread and cry. Me and my buddies say that every time we go out and we pass this place. Panera Breads. Panera Breads was made for women that just got over being broke up with. And then they can go to Panera Bread and eat like bread because they've been just not eating bread in their life because they think they're going to get fat. So they go there and scarf down on like large loaves of bread sandwiches. A toned down Mgtow is an oxymoron, isn't it? It's an oxymoron to tell us to tone down. What do? We turn it up. We don't tone it down. We turn it up. We don't tone it down. Anytime someone tells you you should be passive and not be angry, you turn it up. It's the only proper thing a Mgtow should do is turn it up. It's being a Mgtow. So what's going on, guys? It's Friday. Woo! Did I echo that? Yes, I did. Did you hear that? Did I peak? Fridays are fun sometimes. Yes, they are. I used to enjoy them quite a lot when I was a kid. It was like, get off of work. And then I was like, I had a pocket full of cash before I got married. And I was just going to go out there and just do anything, everything I could, and spend all that money in a weekend because I was living at home with my parents when I first started, out in life. And I was just going to just get out there and it's Friday. Woo! And, but it's still fun. It's still fun to blow off some steam. Go get some pizza with your buddies, some chicken wings. I like chicken. I had some horrible chicken wings. That's why I made that thing yesterday, because I had some horrible chicken wings. And then I equated it to the depression of this town where I couldn't order anything. This town is really depressed. I'm going to get you those pictures some days. I'm just going to ride my bike around town and down 28th Street. And then past the closed down steel mill, and then I can scan to the other side and you can see the 200 closed up shops and buildings. It's going to be quite a video. You won't believe the absolute poverty. Not a single store open. We used to have 100 Chinese places you can order from when there was 6,000 men working in that mill. But I woke up this morning and I seen Heartburn still on. Heartburn was doing an all-nighter. Man, that guy's a trooper on the Braxis. And I wanted to talk a little bit about Braxis today. And them, I don't know what's going to happen. Nobody knows what's really. You don't have this crystal ball. They have these forecasters that they do, and they do these F to G compilations that they do and try to predict peak happiness. But that really doesn't work sometimes, and it's all up in the air. I have a sneaky suspicion they're going to have to practice austerity and throw someone under the bus. And who are they going to throw under the bus now? That's what the question you should ask. And who's it going to be? It's not going to be the Scottish. It's not. Oh, I think they're going to throw the Northern Irish underneath the bus. But we'll see, because they need to practice some sort of austerity now. And who's going to get thrown under the bus? And that's what happens in a microeconomy that they now have. They're now going down the road of the Argentinian economy because they changed their position. And maybe they've seen it coming. I don't know. We can't predict those things. I can't predict. If I could predict these things, I would be a fucking billionaire. All my investments in life would have worked out because I would just be able to predict them. But we will see. I think the Irish are worried, and I think rightfully so, given the history of the Irish. I think a lot of countries, I think France should be worried. I think they're in trouble. I think a lot of the countries in the EU, I seen a flag today, the EU flag with one star missing. And then the guy said, this flag looks pretty cool. They got to redo the flag now. That sucks. Yeah, that sucks. They got to erase one of those stars on that flag. Just erase it out. And then it leaves a little hole there where Britain left. But it's going to be fun to see and watch. Donald Trump's over there. He needed to take that scene. Boy, he's something. He's like a glamour whore, isn't he? He's like, oh yeah, something's happening. Got to be there. And then he showed up and everybody clapped and applauded him. He is something, isn't he? He needed to, I think he was in Scotland at that time. He's got a golf course there. I remember reading about that years ago when he first started. No one wanted him to build that golf course there. He put his lawyer team on there and sigged him on the Scottish and forced them. He said, I own the land. I'll do what the fuck I want. And forced it on them, and now they embrace it, or at least the some of them embrace that. I think the people in the area, that's we're looking at, this could be farmland, and how much worse can we do than making 10,000 acres into a golf course of non-edible. When you're talking about this sort of stuff now, when you're succeeding from this EU, and you're being more independent, and then now you have to really start worrying about one thing: where your food's going to come from. Now we don't have to worry about that in America and mostly Canada, because we have great growing crop fields. We have no overage. Now I was trying to work this overage out in my head. What if America did this? What if America just said, okay, we're just going to keep our overages now, and then we're not going to sell them? Ooh, that would be quite a sight. We'll just dump them like they did with the milk. We'll just dump the milk in the streams, and that's it. No matter. Didn't care about nobody. Just left. So we're out. We did a real Mgtow thing. That's what this is. I think that's why people like this in Mgtow, this Braxis thing, because it resembles a real Mgtow thing. They're just going, hey, fuck you, we're out of here. And it does. It's appealing to them that way. It's very appealing. But I don't know how it's going to turn out. Nobody really knows how it's going to turn out. I like to see those graphs and charts where they convince themselves. And it's a simple vote. Most of the people think it's about patriotism. Most of the people thought it was about something else, about keeping the immigration out. That's probably why they did it now, because everybody's high on keeping the Muslims out. So they've seen an opportunity to escape. I don't know exactly why they did it, but they did it. They declared their independence from themselves. Now you look at it from an American point of view, that we had to declare our independence from them, and then they came and they declared their independence from themselves now. It's funny. Yes, it creates a little cognitive dissonance in the mind of an American. But it's probably good for them, and I hope they do well. Wouldn't want to wish any country bad. There were so many lies told there. Yes, there's a lot of lies told. I wish we could start nailing those lies down here now, until which lies were like real and which lies were fake. And all it's about really is economy. It's about the economy. And it's not about a social economy. And it's not about feelings like they'd make it. And it's not about immigration like they want to make it. It's not about someone coming to fuck your perceived woman. It's about the economy, the general economy, the worth and value of a dollar. Or in your case, the worth and value of a pound. Are they going to call it the pound now? Is it going to go back to the pound like the old days? You just called it a pound. Was it always a pound? Or is it going to be some new name for the value of the money? I noticed gold went up. That's the first thing I did when I looked down. Yeah, this morning when I woke up, it was 9:30. I checked the Dow and watched for the opening to see where it opens, to see how much money I have in life. And the NASDAQ and the S&P. And it opened at 554 short. It closed last night at 338 up, and this morning at 554 short. It's still going to be the pound. That's good. I like the name. I like to call it a pound, like we like to call it a dollar. Dollar just sounds cooler. A pound sounds cool. EK opted out of the euro currency. Yeah. Is that going to become Bitcoin or something now? Some magic currency? Yeah, the EU currency. I don't know what the EU currency is about, but we'll see. We'll see. And there's still quite a few countries in there in the EU currency. They're going to have problems. Now, Sweden opted out too, and they said, fuck that. They closed their country up and said, no more, we hate you, government. And they did that whole thing. Was that Norway or Sweden? I think we talked about that last night, whether it was Norway or Sweden that did that. Just said, fuck you. We're closing down the government. Now, that was a cool move. Selling England by the Pound. I love that album. Yeah, selling England by the pound. They are selling England by the pound. Well, they stopped selling England by the pound now. That was about. I'm trying to think of what that album was about. Was that about Was that about Fletcher? Yeah, or was that about the guy before Fletcher? Where is Cyborg? Is Cyborg? Yeah, is Cyborg here? So, what are you doing tonight? What are you going to do today? What are you doing in life right now? You ended it. I ended it this week. I got too frustrated. I can't do anything when I'm frustrated. My mind doesn't work that way. And then someone told me to tone it down. And today, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about passivity. Anybody want to talk about passivity anymore? About not getting angry? About holding that inside of you? Because if you're practicing passivity, you're probably not normal. You need to go see a doctor, or you need to stop taking the medication that is causing you to be passive in your life. Because I was passive for so many years. Yeah, just let people get over on me. Yeah, can't say that. Can't do that. Can't think that way. Just be a good little soldier. Just be a good sheeple. And then they led you out to that bridge to nowhere, kicked you in your ass out in the wilderness, and said, "There you go. That's what you get for being passive." And then they laugh at you. And then when you get angry, they say, "Hey, you're not allowed to get angry about that." It's cause and effect. It's cause and effect in action. That's what that is. Cause and effect in action. You be too passive, and they will shit all over you. Yes, they will. They will shit all over you. The end result is often a lot of resentment and pent up frustration. Being too passive can have a negative effect on you. Get angry, Mgtow. And say it like a man. Say it stiffly. Say it harshly. Say it aggressively. Say it with passion. Because if you don't, they will stop listening. And they will say, "Please get back in this queuing line so you can get your loaf of bread and be happy with that." Passive times. Now, passive says, Shipwreck says, "I have passive times like a cool breeze." Yeah, that's not being passive. That's being cool. I just sit back some days on the beach. I live shortly away from the beach here. I can go down there anytime I want. I can walk down there and just chill out with a beer and a margarita. We don't have margaritas up here. They don't sell it. There's not a place up here I can get a margarita anymore. The closest margarita, I'd have to go to a Mexican restaurant, and they suck. There's a really great restaurant. The Latin name's the Oyster. I know it's the Oyster, but it's El something. And if anybody can tell me, Zeta here would be able to tell me how to pronounce the Oyster. But all I know it is the Oyster. They got a great margarita. I'm like, oh, it might be a Friday thing too. Go get some margaritas and some wings. Love those margaritas on the beach. You live near the beach, but you never go. Yeah. That's when you live near the beach. I spent most of my life on the beach. Uh, going to the beach, the islands. The parents liked it in the islands. Or there's a swimming pool down the street, which I like soaked in every single day of my life when I was a kid. And that's what I did. I went swimming every single day because that's what kids like to do. There's a little hike down the street. It was a great Olympic-sized pool the city had. I often have some good memories about that, but I often have some bad memories about that because it was quite a white little town, and then it desegregated, and the first brown person showed up at the pool. And it was a very queer thing for us when you're raised in that situation, and we had to make friends, and we had to learn how to get along in this world with this new world that we were seeing for the first time. And it was tough for a while, but it all chilled out and it all got cool. It's the way things usually work with kids. Adults, on the other hand, adults have some crazy shit going on in their mind most of the time. We can't get over the things. It was usually the adults who were kicking the sand and kicking up the racial chatter. Sometimes I think it would be easier to go back and think like that child that, oh God, what do I do now? The pizza finally got delivered last night. Yes, the pizza finally got delivered last night. I ordered 2 pounds of wings, and then I ordered 2 salads and some bread and what else? It was supposed to be a really nice meal for me and my son, and we're going to sit around, and we had a few beers and we were drinking and we were watching TV, and it was supposed to be a really good. And then it came. It was a new restaurant. I got out of my comfort zone. I says, well, I'll just run up to the store and get some chicken or a Subway, because that's the option I have. That's the only option I have. So I found out there was this place. It was I'm not even going to name them. It's not worth it. And get some wings and sit around and do that. And then it came, and then every time in my life that I get out of a comfort zone and I do something out of the ordinary that I wouldn't usually do, I always end up getting screwed over on that because I didn't investigate it. And that's so much like life. Sometimes you have to investigate the things that you want and keep in your comfort zone. Like, I go to this chicken place because I like the chicken there, or I go to this sandwich shop because I like the sandwiches there, and we don't have a lot of options here. And if I had more options, and then I tried ordering from Grubhub, and Grubhub gave me that menu, that apology. Sorry, there are no restaurants in your area. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? In America, in a large town, you click on Grubhub and it says, sorry, there are no restaurants left in your area. That's what they're saying. They're not saying there are no restaurants there. They're saying there are no restaurants left in your area that will deliver to you. And I wanted to talk about that a little today. And I want to talk about the way it's designed here, the steel mills. The steel mill was designed, and we had a thing back in the early 1920s called the company store. Do you remember that, guys? You remember your history about the company store when a company started to, that's what it is now. Now that the steel mill has closed up, we see the effects of the company store. All the restaurants close up. The steel mill owned the restaurants? No, but they controlled the restaurants. The company store still exists in the panopticon of Foucault's ideas. The company store was in there and it closed up. And along with it, it took 200 companies, all the restaurants, and everything else with it. It wasn't supposed to happen because each one of these little businesses were supposed to be independent. And they were supposed to work. They put 5,000 houses in little rows around the steel mill here. And then the company store went and they put them houses, and then they sold you the mortgages, and then you bought your houses. And now that this company's not there no more, you feel the effects of that. And that was not supposed to happen. I can't get Chinese delivered. Grubhub tells me there's nothing left. In Germany, they have these policies. When a company moves out, they leave the company, and then they put a new manager in there, and then they keep the company going. They say, you can leave if you want. You're just keeping this here. In America, we don't have that policy. What they do is they'll start shipping from Canada or Mexico the steel in, and then they don't have to pay taxes if they sell it out into America. They pay less taxes. There's something about it. So it's exporting. You're importing the steel so you can export the jobs. And that's what they did to us. They exported all our jobs, and they import the steel so they can still sell it in America. And it's a travesty, and it's wrong, and it should not never exist like that. But when you look around this town emptied. This town died. You look up Lorraine on the type in Lorraine on the Urban Dictionary, and it will tell you exactly what happened. It's actually in the Urban Dictionary. It means ghetto, extreme poverty. It's the number one ghetto city. You know what the number one ghetto cities in America are? Yeah, they're all right around here because of the steel mills closing up. It's Akron. It now avoids Cleveland. It's Lorain. It's Youngstown. It's Toledo. The Rust Belt, they call it. Because our politicians, like just happened in England, Brexit, our politicians betrayed us. Our politicians betrayed us. They must hate us because it's a very violent thing. It's a very violent, unnatural thing when you force that kind of poverty on people. And I have to look at it every day when I walk out of this house, and it brings tears to my eyes. That crushes the souls of men. And then they tell you to tone it down. You're not allowed to say something. Bernie Sanders comes through, has a fundraiser, and says, oh, everything's going to be okay. Don't worry about it. Obama sat down in the brand new college building and said, look, there's a brand new, we're trying. And those buildings are nice, but he never went into the real city because bullets would have probably flung by his head because everybody hates him here. Because he betrayed us. And in 1,000 little towns just like this all over America, people are turning their passivity, everything they tucked into hate now, because nobody was allowed to say it. And that's what we're talking about today. The ability to say it. Everybody was puppies and butterflies and everything's going to be okay. And the unicorns are dancing outside my house. And the squirrels are happy little creatures. And the birds are flying around my head. Zippity doo dah, zippity day. That's what they were singing. That's what they were singing when they pranced on through my neighborhood like a bunch of freaking fairies and told us everything was going to be okay. That was 16 years ago. And then they took the last thing we had. Moan closed down, Ford closed down, GM closed down, Ridge Tool closed down. We have two factories. We have the steel mill and we have Elyria Motor. Elyria Motor is still up. They make motors, electric motors, Elyria Electric. And then the steel mill has a skeleton. They say, if you look in the press, they will say Lorraine factory is still open, but they're not moving no steel in and out of here. There's a skeleton crew of 40 people, so they can say we're still open. They're employing maybe 20 to 30, 40 people down there, so they can say they're still open, and everything looks fuzzy and happy to the public. And they're lying to you. The media is flat out fucking lying to you because it's closed up with so many other steel mills and workplaces that are closed up. And that just doesn't close up one shop. That closes up thousands of shops where forging shops start burning the steel and molding it into products. And that employs 60, 70 people. And it goes to a tool and die shop and they make little parts out of that. And that's what Obama never understood. That's what Obama never understood because he never had to work in these places. He never seen the chain of service that goes from there. And the hardwares were all selling parts because the same parts that the steel mills in these little shops were making. And it's reciprocal economics. You know it's all dead when the hardwares close up. But that's what these guys don't know. Does Trump understand that? That's what I have to ask myself. Does Trump know the steel comes out of the steel mill and goes to these little forging places and they forge parts and goes to milling shops and they mill parts and then Ford buys those parts of those washers or they roll steel and they stamp washers and parts, and they put little things together, and they have progressive dies, and they have maintenance men that are working to keep these machines running. And that goes, it's not just the 3,000 men here, it's the 20,000 men out here that lost their jobs too. And now I can't get Chinese delivered, and there's no hardware. And then it rolls down into that part of our economics where the mall closes, the Chinese food store. That's when you know it's really hit you hard. That's when you become a third world country. And that's what we talk about. But do they see this? No, they don't see it. They can't visualize it. Obama was a community activist. That was his big criteria for being president. Can Trump see this? Is there a vision there? I know Hillary Clinton can't see it. There's no vision there. She made her money on the stock market. She thinks money's free. It's magic money from the money gods. Bill understood it. Bill was born in poverty. Bill Clinton was born in poverty, and he made his millions, and he understands it perfectly. But does Hillary understand it? Do you know that Bill Clinton was Billy Bly's great-great-great-grandchildren? The pirate Billy Bly. Did you know that? The privateer pirate was his great-great-great-grandfather. That freaks me out when I hear that. No one told you that you were electing the son of a privateer. They put the blockade from England in there, and they put the blockade from the Spanish. They tried to prevent the slavery, is what the privateers were doing. And then they shot holes in their boats. But yes, interesting whether they know these things. It's interesting whether they can see these things, have foresight into business. Is Trump that kind of businessman? There are them kind of businessmen, and there are businessmen that sell apartments and they sell stock and they make their millions that way. It doesn't mean they know how the system runs. It simply they can compilate those F to G peak happiness moments in the scale there, that, you know, how it fluctuates on in the stock market. I wish I could have that skill, because I'd be a billionaire, and I wouldn't have to be doing what I do, and I probably wouldn't be talking to you. I'd probably be talking to you because I'm a little misogynist. Always been a little misogynist. Always seen it. Always seen the red pill when it comes to women. My father used to call me that. He's a little misogynist. A 12-year-old. I was like, that bitch. And then he'd smack me in the face. I'd say, you see what that bitch did? And then he'd smack me down. Because he's a blue pill white knight. Had 8 kids. Mom had 9 kids. Dad had 8 kids. Figure that one out. F guilt. Did you stock up on beer? I haven't stocked up on beer yet for the weekend. It's close. We're coming up to July 4th, and that's our Independence Day, and that's an important holiday. It goes freaking nuts around here on July 4th. You should see it, guys. I live in a highly Hispanic area, and there's nothing Hispanic people love more than their fireworks. And I know that might be a little racist. And there's nothing Asians love more than their fireworks, too. They love blowing off fireworks. It's quite a sight around here. Hell yeah. Blowing off fireworks is great. I almost bought a kit the other day. I was riding my bike, and the guy was like, hey man, you want to buy them little boxes for $24? And I opened up, but it was the sparkler kit. It wasn't a good kit with the M80s in it. It was the sparkler kit. And I was like, nah, I don't want to buy that shit. I want the real kit. I want the one with the shit that just actually goes boom. And a thousand firecrackers and blackjacks and black cats and whizzers and whizzly doos and all those cool things, and sparklers and snakes. And I want the good kit. That'll probably cost me about $114, but I'm going to get one because that's what everybody does around here. That's just a week away. About a week away, I would say. I do have a calendar here. Yeah. a week and a couple of days. It's on Monday. 4th of July falls on a Monday, so everybody gets that day off. That's really cool when that happens, because it doesn't happen all the time. That's the cool 5-day, 4-day weekend that you get. And I love that. It's like a mini holiday, all wrapped into a fun beer drinking, don't throw M80s at each other, and please don't poke each other's eyes out with the bottle rockets. But then you still have a bottle rocket fight with your brothers. Used to have some horrific bottle rocket fights. We learned this thing: if you took a coffee can and you shoved it full of toilet paper, then you put lighter fluid over it, and then you shove 2 cases of bottle rockets down in there so they fit tightly, and then you lit it on fire. That fire would go and it would light all the wicks at once, and you can shoot 1,000 bottle rockets at once at your friend that was hiding behind a board in the front yard. It was dangerous. We used to love bottle rockets. Black Cat bottle rockets are the best. I don't know what you like. Do you like it? What was your favorite bottle rocket? That's coming up. I like the Black Cat, personal favorite of mine. But that's just fun shit. Coming up, it's great holidays. Holidays are fun. This one, excuse me. I just lit a cigarette there. But we have a lot of stuff coming up. This will be an interesting weekend to watch. I'm still trying to keep up on the stock market today, because it's what it's doing. It opened at 520, 527 down. They've been regaining, but I don't think it would be hard to say. It would be amazing, actually, if it regained all the way. It's still at 515 now, so it went back up, but the NASDAQ went down a little bit. Nope, it went back up to 315. We're sitting at 2.8 down. The S&P sitting at 2.292 down. That's 61.63. And the NASDAQ sitting down 3.60. And it doesn't look like them people are going to get their money back. The magic money disappeared. The magic money disappeared. Where did the magic money go? Money just doesn't disappear. It goes somewhere. And that's what I try to explain to everybody once, if they want. The money just didn't disappear. All these people lost that money. So where did it go? Who benefited from this? If you could figure that one out, you'd be a billionaire. Gold's going nuts, yeah. And I think they're going to do that where they're going to back it up with some kind of gold to make sure it doesn't crash. And I'm not sure, or they're just going to sell the gold back out. And then that'll take up because the money didn't disappear. Where'd it go? It went into gold. They're still, if you think about it, they're still working on a gold, on gold, because it's going somewhere. And it shows you what happens, how they're lying to you, how the magic money doesn't work, because it had to go somewhere. Where is it going? Just look at where is it going today, and that'll tell you what's the reality of the markets and what the reality of life is. And those guys, it was up to 1330. It's probably up to 1332 or 35 or 36 today. I was kind of interested in where that was going to go. Silver, the mines are actually going up. If you watch the mines, if you put in the mines, they're actually, the value is actually going into the mine too, the land at the mine, the gold mines and the platinum mines and the copper mines. And you would have did really good if you could have foreseen that last week and invested in mining, in the mining companies. There was an interesting company this morning I was watching. It was up 13 points last night. And I was like, well, that's interesting. It was a tech company out of Jersey. And then I looked this morning, and it had dropped down the minus, it had minused out. And I was like, man, the knee-jerk reaction there. And it dropped down. They were doing so good until Brexit happened last night, and then it just ended. I was sad for those people, because when you get into one of those markets and you're like, oh shit, I'm doing good now. And hey Dougie, what's going on, Dougie? Did the mailman come? The mailman came, and Dougie's going nuts, and he's like, Joe, the mailman, that thing's out there and it's fucking with me, and it's fucking with my existence, and it walked by the house, and it makes his day unhappy. So I just wanted to do a Friday here. I don't know how long I've been talking. How long have I been talking? It's 2:04. I don't know when I started. And I wanted to keep it short because I wanted this to be a video. So I don't have to do a video, so I can go do what I want to do today. And because I want to get drunk and I want to eat chicken wings, and I want to eat good chicken wings, but I can't. So I have to drive. I have to take an Uber cab to another town and not do that, because the economy here sucks, because Obama betrayed us, because he's a pussy beggar, because he doesn't see gynocentrism. And that's how far the link goes. That's where the rabbit hole goes there. I can't get Chinese. I can't get nothing delivered because Obama's a pussy beggar, because he can't see gynocentrism in action. And they can't put those little links together in their head, how it's ruining our economy. And I didn't say the F word once today, did I? So I don't have to pay $1 on my dollar jar. But I think I'm going to close this one up today. And thanks a lot for coming around. Thanks a lot for being Mgtow. Get out there, be aggressive, say it like a Mgtow. That's all I'm saying. Say it like a Mgtow. Dr. McCoy Guilt, Joey Argon, Region of the Mask, Warhorse, Zeta, anybody that was in today. There was a few more people in earlier. Let me go way back up here. Who? Thanks for showing up. Shiny, thanks for showing up. Everybody, thanks for being Mgtow. It helps. We got to get out there, say it aggressive, say it like a Mgtow. Be strong about your words and never be apologetic, and never ask for any permission to say it, because that's life. And that's the only way you're going to get these things going. That's the only way that things are going to happen, because they want you to be passive. They want you to be beat up. They don't want you saying it. They don't want you saying you're ruining your town, because they are ruining your town. And that money disappears. It doesn't disappear. It goes somewhere. Where did the money from here go? It went somewhere else. Into their swimming pools, into their 40-room houses, into their beachfront property in the Bahamas. They're happy with the way things are. Obama's wife is flying around the country in Air Force One, spending your money, going to the shoe store like women do. What was that, Winnie Mandela, that was buying shoes, had over 3,000 pairs of shoes? That's all this country's become. With great wealth is great responsibility. Open that fucking steel mill. I'm going to harp on this for a year until they open that fucking steel mill back up. And on every single podcast, I'm going to call Obama a pussy. He's a girl. He's a girl because he thinks like a girl economically. He's a pussy. He's ruining this country. He's our first transgender presidency. He's a girl and she's a guy. And I'll stop saying it when he opens up this Brad Pitt is a woman. Oh no, Brad Pitt's a dude. Hey, let's talk about that. Brad Pitt, World War Z will be coming out. World War Z 2 will be coming out soon again. One of my favorite movies, because it got the zombies that are fast movers. And that's kind of cool. Because I don't know which movie that was called. If you can think of it, the first Fast Movers, it was about zombies, and they were in Africa, and there was a soldier. I can't remember the name of that. That was the first time I seen the Fast Movers. To that point, all the zombies were slow movers. And then they made up the Fast Movers. Now you see the Fast Movers and everything. Or there's a middle fast mover, slow mover. If their bodies decayed, they should be slow movers, but the fast movers are really cool because they're destructive. So World War Z was like the first, real zombie fast movers. And I should watch the Langoliers for scary movies. I like the Langoliers when the little munchies things were. That was interesting at the time. Really, IRA, you drunk? IRA. The IRA hates competition. There was no such thing as the IRA. My grandfather was he was chased out of Ireland slightly after the War of 1916, and he used to have long discussions on the front porch as he was sitting on his case of what used to be POC, Pride of Cleveland beer, and drinking it. He used to work at the brewery after he dug ditches for 30, 40 years. And he used to tell me, Joey, there's no such thing as the IRA. It's a secret that only Irish people know. It's a secret that make you think that there's someone watching you the rest of your life. The IRS, sorry. Yeah, the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service. Now that's real. Them fuckers are real, and they will come take everything from you so they can give it to baby mamas. The IRS, they will tax the shit out of you so they can give it to somebody else. They will steal your money so they can thug and force it on you and give it to the baby mamas, because we have a certain baby mama problem of 42 billions. That's some 60 billion children or something. I'm not sure. You can argue the stats with me. I do a little hyperbole on that because, hey, they do a little hyperbole too. Hyperbole is the way of the media nowadays. But I'm going to close this up, go get myself some wings, maybe a few beers tonight, blow off some steam, do a little Mgtow shit. I don't know. Figure that out as it goes. Be responsible. Call an Uber cab if you're going to drink and drive. Or if you're going to drink at a drive, run your car through the Health and Human Service building or the local government building. And make sure it has 500-600 gallons of gasoline in there. But please don't drink and drive and be unresponsible. The flats tonight. Oh, the flats aren't what they used to be. I like the flats, but they used to be better when you had all the bars on the East Bank and then the West Bank opened up. And a lot of you guys don't know, we're talking about the East Bank and the West Bank of the Cuyahoga River. And they had 1,000 bars. They used to be where the boats pulled in and all the sailors got off, and it was Whiskey Island there. And Whiskey Island was where they unloaded, and it was just quite a scene down there. All the sailors came in, and they were out after the weekend, and it got crazy. And I don't know why they call it flats, because there's a big hill that goes down it, and there's a big hill that goes out of it. It's like a valley. It's the valley where the river, the Cuyahoga, lets out into the lake. All flats, Trav. But the flats are fun. Nuclear weapons don't exist. I wish they didn't exist. God, I wish they didn't exist. I think we should just open up nuclear plants and then burn all that, and then just take and just make it into energy and just burn it away and just get rid of it and make it a depletable resource. And then someday there wouldn't be them. And that's what we could do. But like I said, I'm going to close this one up. And you guys have a good day. Be good. Be Mgtow. Be monk. And have fun. Be good, Mgtows. But still have some fun. Morality doesn't mean you have to be sitting by a tree with a diaper praying to some fake god. Be a Mgtow monk. Go have some fun. Think about yourself first. For the first time in living, think about yourself as a male before you think about anything else. And don't bring no women into your house. Don't get married. Don't practice those, those dating rituals that leave you down the road to poverty. Thanks a lot. You guys take care. Loving each and every one of you.